Good evening. Welcome to another interesting night in the futures market, or, well, I hope it to be. Thank you for joining me this evening. Hope everyone has had a great day. Let's see if there's anything worth checking out right now. Took a little nap a bit ago, so I haven't really checked out much this evening. Today's trading, we saw the S&P once again continue to head up toward its all-time highs. I believe we're just a little bit off of that now. Let's go check the daily chart on the S&P. Oops. Daily. Well, daily. I wonder why my lines are all the way down here. That's interesting. Anyway, so all-time highs, so 44.49.50. We hit 44.32 yesterday, and we're currently sitting at 45.22. So right now we're only sitting about 27 points off of all-time highs. So definitely showing some market strength. Move our lines here to highs and lows of that day. We'll go back to the 2-minute chart. And so far it's kind of selling off, but look, it's just kind of choppy. And really, I mean, the day itself was kind of choppy. It had moves, but chop. Copper, my favorite thing. It grinded up today, but it would have been. I didn't play it. It would have been hard to play coming off of here. Every move had a major pullback. It was up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So it was a grind up and with no, you know, the momentum kept going away. Big pullbacks of 12 ticks or, 15 ticks. This pullback here. So today would have been a hard day to play. Then it sold off at the end of the day. Some. It's down some from its highs last week, and the first part of this week. We hit about 4.83, and today, right now we're right around 4.72. So now what I'm going to try and do tonight, I'm going to experiment a little. I've set up a generic uh, 5 and 10 automatic trade where I'm going for going for more of a scalping strategy and trying to get like 5 ticks or 10 ticks out of a move with uh, two or three contracts instead of one. I'm going to do that mostly on sim, but we're going to try and take a bunch of trades tonight, as long as there's opportunities to take the trades, and see how that works out versus going for a specific, bigger amount of ticks. I've been noticing that, while my strategy usually works, more than 50% of the time. The ones that don't work tend to go a certain direction, still go up a little bit or down, go in the direction I want a little bit and then fizzle out. So I'm going to go for smaller amounts of ticks but bigger contract size just to see how that works out. Kind of an experiment tonight. So we'll see how that goes. Let's check out gold. Gold today, you know, it came up big time from its lows here down here at 1767. Came all the way up to 1789 and then just crashed at right uh, before and through the open. I mean, this from here at 8:45 a.m. this morning Eastern down to here. It's a $1,200 drop in about 45 minutes. Overall, its range today was about 32 points. Right now, it's a bit sideways. Energies today. Crude oil. Crude oil started by selling off some down here. I believe there was crude oil inventories today. We saw a big spike down here when the oil pit opened this morning, and that was our low of the day. And then when inventories came out, it popped up and continued up right till the close. So crude had about almost a 3-point range today. Natty gas. Natty gas kind of like was sideways. Coming off their open yesterday, it went down, went sideways, went up, then down, and then finally up when started upwards at the New York Open, then continued upwards, pulled back, but finished for the day. It rebounded off its lows. Its range ended up being also about $3,000. You can see that actually gave us I wasn't paying attention. I was eating supper and stuff, but it's gave us a nice little crawl up since the open. Since the open, it's up 5159. Hit a high of 5195. Yeah, 5159 to 5195. So it's giving us about 40 ticks since it opened, pulling back a little now. Bonds, James Bonds. I do that joke every time, and I know it's not funny. The Ultra Bond. Ultra Bond's been selling off this week so far. We're already below the low of yesterday's trading. Let's bring our yellow line down here. We hit a high right here this morning, about 7:45. I guess there was a bond auction, and I don't quite understand that. I haven't read up on how that works. That can send prices doing this right here. You can see here on this 5-minute candle, right at 1 o'clock. This is when this bond auction happened, and I have, like I said, to figure out exactly what that is. But it dropped $1,000 in 5 minutes. Whoosh. So it looks like its range on the day ended up being about 2 points, a little over $2,000. And it's continued to sell off since, like I said, we're below the low yesterday. The Russell's squeezing hard right now, looks like. It might be trying to turn downward. What's crude oil doing? Hold on, got a signal there on crude. Got a buy signal on crude. So let's go to our crude chart. Crude chart. There we go. We have 52 seconds left on this candle. We're going to go over the sim. And we are going to go to that. Let's see. Let's go to let's go for 5 ticks. Gen 5. Generic 5. See how this strategy works. By the way, for anyone joining me, please feel free to say hello in the chat. Ask any questions, statements, insults, whatever. Definitely like to hear some feedback or just something to make it that I just don't keep droning on and on about the highs of the day. Oops, I missed that entry. But let's see. Let's buy the bid. We're buying 3. Order quantity. Wait, hold on. Uh, okay, I went on the wrong sim account, but it works anyway. I think. Which sim account am I on? Okay, I'm on the earn to trade sim, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're filled here. It's a 1-to-1 risk, so that I don't really like a little bit. But if you're going for only 5 ticks, you have to, you can't have a 3-tick stop loss without. You need to give it a little bit of room. So we'll see how this works. Right now we're down 1 tick, so we're down 30 bucks. Again, we're only simming here, testing out this new strategy, this scalping strategy. And now we're up 30 bucks. Let's see what the signal is here. Gold. So let's check what gold's doing. Okay, gold's giving us a signal in the 5-minute. Signal I would prefer to take is here in the 2-minute, but that might have actually. Okay. Oh, and we just got stopped out on crude oil, and I should have. This is why I'm glad I didn't take it. When 8 o'clock hits, one of the Asian markets opens, and it often sends things going a little wacky right when it opens. So that went 6 ticks down within 2 seconds. So we stopped out on that trade. I try to be flat oftentimes in you know trades right at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern time, just because of that. So now, we'll watch a little while, and then we'll wait for the next opportunity. So far we're 0 and 1 on this experiment. Back to checking our daily Russell. Russell, this is an interesting chart here. You get high of the day here. You can see it tried 3 times along here to get above that level. So that's an important level if we start seeing this go up any. Its low, ooh, its low came, looks like there, and it double bottomed as well. Double load, really? I was gonna say that. Double bottomed here as well. So we have triple top, double bottom. Its range was 29 points. So about $1,450. Looks like we actually got a sell signal in the Russell way back here when I was either eating or napping. We'll put our normal 3525. I'm not gonna track the 5 tick by 5 tick stuff, but see if this would have reached profit goal if it had gotten in there. Platinum's too thinly traded this time of night to worry about. What's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's showing a sell. Uh, Bitcoin hit all-time highs today, by the way, for those of you who follow crypto. I do not have any Bitcoin. I do have Dogecoin, and Dogecoin is doing decently. Bitcoin's come down off its highs by about $1,000. Still, it's almost 66K. Dogecoin's at a quarter. Oops, I'm sorry, guys. I was looking at the wrong window and did not see your messages. Hi. Hello, Mr. G. Hello, JT. I apologize. I was not trying to ignore you. How you guys doing tonight? Um, well, Mr. G, I'll try and find something better for you. The Reddit page is where I update it the best. That's where I'm keeping the best schedule so far. But I'll try to get the edits into Twitch and YouTube this weekend for next week. I will tell you that for the rest of this week, it's tomorrow morning and Friday morning, starting at 7:30 Eastern, and then I'll figure out next week's schedule. And again, sorry, I wasn't trying to ignore you guys. I had the Streamlabs OBS software up, and I was following the chat there, and apparently that only shows me the Twitch chat, and instead of having the restream page up, and that shows me both YouTube and Twitch. Nasdaq today. So yeah, I'll work on getting better at figuring out a good place to put the schedules. Nasdaq looks like it hit a high here at about 10:30, and then just bottom dropped out from there all the way down to here. That was a range of about 140, 130 points, 2,600 bucks. Okay, what's gold doing now? Okay, gold's giving us a buy signal, and we're heading north on it. 18 seconds to quickly find a chart. Go to generic 5, and let's go to Sim 101, and we will buy the market now. Got filled at two different prices on that market order. So we're down $10. We have copper also giving us signals. Ooh, I got copper really. Copper's really choppy. So we'll watch this gold trade on Sim generic book 5, looking for just 5 ticks. With 3 contracts. Is my scalping strategy that I want to test out. Right now, ooh, pulled back big and stopped out. Okay, so far we're 0 for 2 on this scalping strategy. We're gonna try the 10 by 10 next, and we're gonna mark off. We have a buy signal on copper on the 2 minute, so let's go find a copper chart. Let's try a 10 by 10. Switch over to Sim, guaranteeing you some action tonight as we take a bunch of trades. Generic 10. You guys still there with me? That I wasn't trying to ignore you. Are you still out there? Buy market? Or in the trade? In the trade with three contracts. Immediately down one tick somehow on one contract. I guess we got filled at two different. Yeah, we got filled at two different prices on that market order. Now we're up. So with three contracts shooting for 10 ticks, that'd be a $375 profit or thereabouts. As of right now, we're up $100 on this trade. Wow, it just went to target. I'm gonna regret not taking that trade for real. So let's look at the stats on that trade. You can see Sim 101. This is the negative $210 was on the first sim. What we did, that was on that uh, oil trade that stopped us at the top of the hour. Now we just hit 180. We're up 182.50 on two trades. We lost that gold trade, and we won this trade. Let's see if we can figure out. That was sell, sell, sell. Buy, buy, buy. So we got 10 ticks, 10 ticks, 9 ticks on that. So total of 29 ticks. 29 times 12.5. So we got $362.50 out of that trade. Now on the gold trade we lost. Yeah, this is difficult to figure. 3 down to 7, 6 ticks. And 2 down to 6 is 6 ticks. So even though I have it set for 5, we ended up getting filled for a 6 tick loss, so 18 ticks. 18 ticks of loss in the gold, which would be $180. So that's about where we're at now, which makes sense. About $182 down. I mean up on Sim, and $210 on that trade on that really filled badly. 210. I had it set for 5 tick stop loss, and it filled at 7 ticks. So that really went down quick. It not fill quick. Yeah, I got bad fills on that stop. So 1 for 1 so far. And yeah, let's see what this is actually doing. We'll mark it off. My normal thing is going for 20 ticks. So we'll see whether this trade would have actually gone to my normal 20 ticks as well. And we'll wait for our next signal. So, Mr. G, if you're still here, how much did you make? How many ticks did you get out of that trade you took today? I could probably look. Let's see. You said 10:36. It'll be 11:36 my time. So, oh, with that no, 11:36, 10:36. Wait, 10:06. So there went long. 11:36. That doesn't look that great. 29:50. I'll wait for you to tell me. I can't figure it out. Tried to look. Okay, Smith. Speaking of NQ and ES, we have signals on both. Since we're on Sim, we'll do the AQ, NQ. NQ. That's going to be a problem actually. 10 ticks. We'll go ES because 10 ticks on NQ really is barely anything. Well, $20. No, yeah, it's only $5 a point. Yeah, we'll do ES. We'll do 10 ticks on the ES. So let's find our ES chart. There it is. We'll go over to Sim. Generic times 10. Gen 10. Oops. Not trying to resize. Just trying to get rid of that. Our signal went away. So maybe we won't get in after all. Oh, big pullback now, so definitely not getting a signal there. Gold. Oh, there's this downward momentum on gold. Uh, don't have my chart ready, but there it is. We're still there. We can see it actually pulling back here a quick sec. So we'll wait to see if this continues to go down before, we did just go down here, you can see, and so that could be a support area right now. So it might be trying to push down more or bouncing here again. You can see it's been kind of choppy. We can mark off these trades as if I was normally taking them. Since the day's opened. See, this would have been, looks like that would have went all of 5 ticks, maybe 6. Yeah, that would have only been 6 ticks and before it reversed. But I mean, actually, normally I run 12 by 16 on gold, so I wouldn't have stopped out at all. It might have continued this downward trend. Oh well, actually, wow. No, wait, I reversed that. So I would have got the 12 ticks, but my normal profit goal is 16. So but we'll still be in that first trade. So we'll see what that does. See, natural gas. So it's giving us a good. They didn't give us any new up signals. So we could just got in off the one before the close if we wanted to. That can sometimes be a little hairy though, but definitely could have taken this short here. And I normally do a 20 by 40 on this. 20 stop, 40 for the goal. Wow. Look at that. It would have went to 39 and then pulled back. So we would have got something out of that, but it wouldn't have reached the full profit target. That kind of sucks. Let me just make sure this is in at the right time, but we could have had slippage anyway, so we don't never know. Oops. Sorry, did not mean to hit the. Crude here. This is where it stopped us out right at 9. Yeah, 9. Right. Right at 8 o'clock Eastern. It's trying to move upwards, but really doesn't have. I mean, would have got in here off this candle. This is a big candle. This is a 16 tick candle. Waiting for that to close. We would have only ended up. Well, let's see. We would have got the five ticks out of it. Let's see if we got 10. It's at 83.78. We got 8 ticks so far. Nope, 9 ticks so far. So, but it looks like it's trying to like go sideways now. Excuse me. It's actually sent a bunch of signals since open. That is a lot of signals so far since the open. It started off here, bounced off SMA, headed up. That bounce off the SMA was 59 to 77. So that was a nice 18 tick bounce. Pulled back, up, down, up again, pulled back. Just quick move downward, right at the Asia Open, one of the Asian Opens, and then back up. Now it's trying to pull back again here. I expect this is just a regular pullback, and it's going to continue going, either sideways and then going up. But you can see so far, this was just almost a perfect continuation. A little bit of sell off at open, but just a pull back to SMA, continuing up. See, the bonds are a little confused right now. They sent a buy signal here, and this might have actually given us 5 ticks. Let's look. Doesn't look like that big of a move, but maybe it is. Boom, boom. No, not even 4 ticks. Okay. So that would only give us 3 ticks. So, and normally I look for 7 on the bonds. But I would not have, I'm almost sure I would not have gotten in this trade because of the downward movement of the SMA line. We got a buy signal on natty gas. Let's see, a minute to go in that candle. We also have a signal on the bonds. The bonds really, well, maybe. It looks kind of strong. We'll do natural gas. You had 2 signals at once. I mean, it's possible to try and play them both. but it's a little harder. So we'll bring up our natural gas chart here. First, we'll go back to the natural gas chart on TradingView. It's comfortably above. We have a 4-tick spread on the bid and ask. So we're going to, instead of marketing in, we're going to buy on the bid. Try and get the better price, because if we market in, we're going to be down 4 ticks right from the start. Oops. Let's get in on the Gen 10 and buy on the bid. See if we get filled. Move it up right to the... There we go. We got filled for 1. One of the 3 contracts filled. So let's see whether or not the other 2 fill, or if just as goes. If it pulls back, it'll fill. If it doesn't, then we'll just go with 1. It's just kind of still. It's a very natural gas is kind of thinly traded this time of night. But that doesn't mean if if you shouldn't, what it means is you shouldn't market in. You should not market order, use market orders. If I don't use a market order. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it pulled back by 1 tick, and it filled us now for all 3 contracts. But now see, if we had marketed in on this order, it would probably filled us at 5.174. Right now the price is sitting at 5170, so we would be down four ticks already. So we're looking for 10 ticks profit with a 10 tick stop loss, a 1-to-1. We've seen this work once already. We've seen it work. We've seen it fail once. Actually, the failure was on a 5x5 instead of a 10x10. So this is just a scalping strategy I'm trying to just test out, which is why I'm on Sim and not on my actual Gauntlet account. Remember, if you're in an evaluation with Earn a Trade or whomever, and you want to test something out, you know, if you're using NinjaTrader, they give you a Sim account. But even if you're not, Earn a Trade gives you a Sim account as well. I have 2 Sim accounts here to choose from. Just switch over to your Earn a Trade Sim account, test out anything. Now, there are you could blow your Sim account, but it don't matter. It doesn't hurt your actual Gauntlet account at all. But you might need to contact customer service to get your Sim account reset. But it's not. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't hurt your actual Gauntlet. So always test any new strategies, any new ideas on some sort of Sim or paper account, and not in your actual Gauntlet. Not much movement right now here, and you can see. Oh, yeah, I was hiding the signals. Oops. You can see there wasn't a lot of movement here before this big move up, but it was kind of big move, small, big, sideways, and then big. So we'll see what it does. You also check what those alerts were. Gold. What's gold doing? Ooh, gold is choppy. So here's that sell signal that we got that we considered going in on, and I was late on, luckily. And it's never went down another tick. It's actually gone up by 81.9 up to 83. It actually reversed by 11 ticks. Trying to pull back now, so this would have actually been a good play upwards, but there was really no indication that this was going to play upwards. You can see we're still technically in if we had entered off this first sell signal of the day, we're technically would be still in that trade by 3 ticks. Not a lot of range so far on gold for since open. Our natural gas is now down by 4 ticks, down $120. So I don't think I'm going to like this scalping strategy, but we'll see. I'm just trying to figure out there's a better way. I really like the strategy I have been playing with and doing for all this time, but it was meant for more, to do with more contracts at once, so it could let things run if things continued after the original profit target. And I'm only running one contract because I don't want to take a big loss at any one point in the gauntlet. So that's why I'm trying to see if whether or not a smaller goals might be better, because I noticed that even on most, after a signal, even most losses oftentimes start off as winners. You know, a few ticks in the profit, and then they'll end up pulling back and going the wrong way. So that's what I'm testing out here. Plus, it gives more to talk about on the stream. You're seeing more action. Once again, I'm blocking possible alerts, though. There we go. But we'll see. This is a 10 by 10 on natural gas is actually really kind of risky, because that's a $300 loss with 3 contracts. Probably better to do that with 2 contracts if you're going to try that. Um, since it's sim, it's okay. See, if we had done a 5 by 5, we'd be stopped out right here. We're down 5 ticks. Now we're down 7 ticks. So it looks like this is going to be a pullback. Yep, we just stopped out. So far this strategy is not working out, which is fine. And actually, I just jumped in that trade. And that's risky, because I didn't even look at the fact that it just pulled back to the SMA line, which was trending well downward and indicated that it was going to continue going downward. This is a bounce off the SMA line. So this I should have never even thought about entering this trade. All this did was hit this low, basically bounced off the 200 EMA, came back up, bounced, and now it's bouncing back off the SMA and down. So that was a bad trade setup to begin with. It's just what you gotta, you have to, you have to process information. And because I'm getting used to, trying out this new strategy, I didn't look at the rest of the information that I should have processed. That's why you need a trading plan, and you need to know what you're looking for each time you go into a trade. Where are you at on the chart? Where, what are you looking at? In my case, I look at where the bands are, where the SMA is, a quick look at the EMA, and the strength of how far away, things are at now. Now we've got a reverse signal on Natty Gas. We got signals all around here. We got signals on crude and on copper. So copper never did reach that profit target that I would have been going for. Is now giving us an opposite signal. So we now have signals on copper and on natural gas. We have a minute to go on these candles. So we will. We will take trades on both. But okay, first let's look. We're bouncing off the SMA line on natural gas. We have room to go. On copper, we're coming off a move up, coming down. Things are kind of sideways. Things are running parallel, horizontally parallel. So it has room to go down. Oftentimes, though, I see this bounce off the SMA lines or whatnot. Check the quick 5-minute chart. It's coming down, but we'll take this trade. This is oftentimes I see these reverse right here, but we'll do that. We have 15 seconds, so we're going to try and take both these trades. So I'm talented like that. We're going to mark it in on copper, and we're going to limit order in on gas. Okay, so copper's already down 87.50, 10 divided by 3. Okay, we're filled on natural gas and on copper. We're up one tick on gas. It looks like we got filled at two different prices on copper, so we're down 3 or 4 ticks. So we're watching both of these trades. And both are down right now. Now, things just, I mean, last night I was watching things and things seem to be moving much more smoothly than they are tonight. Things are just not following the signals tonight. So if I'd be taking these trades, normally this might have been a bad night anyway. Remember, feel free to say hello in chat. Let me know how you're doing, what you're doing. Looks like copper might want to end up heading toward our stop on a 3 tick. 10 ticks by, ooh yeah, we're about ready to give away all our profit from that last copper trade. We're blocking signals here. Let's see, what's that? Platinum. No, okay, so let's take a look at the charts here. I know we can take it. I prefer looking at. So, okay, if we were trading normally, which, you know, my normal 15 by 10 off this buy signal here. Well, actually, I mean, this is where we, you know, got our profit earlier. But if we were trading normally, looking for my 20 tick profit target, that trade we would still be in. We just stopped out on that copper trade for the sell side. So I did say I was worried about this. Oftentimes, when you see these come down, they'll hang right around the below the SMA line, and that's as far as they'll go. They'll reverse. I think we've seen that someplace else. So that stopped us out. We would still be in that trade looking for if I was doing the 20 by 15. So see what the results of that are. We also are still in our natural gas trade, down just one tick there. And we can mark that off. Actually, well, we shouldn't have gotten in the natural gas trade because the signal went away, but I didn't see the signal going away because I was concentrating on the copper chart. So again, we'll have to see how that does. We'll see if it continues to bounce off the SMA, which is starting to level out. NQ is coming to life. We see a buy signal in the NQ and the ES. I tried to do this earlier, then crapped out on us. Minute 23 seconds on that candle. We'll take an ES trade if it stays. And we'll take an R, we'll just, looks like the RTY is trying to do the same thing. Now, I'm hesitant on this trade. If I was on my account, I'll be hesitant on this because on the 5-minute chart we have a downtrending, downward slope on the SMA, and it's coming right up into that slope. On the 2-minute, you're approaching the 200 EMA. So this is both points of resistance. And you can see the NASDAQ chart's looking the exact same way. I would not get in this trade normally, but we can get in on a sim and see how it does. So I expect this trade to be failure. I expect this to reverse. But we will buy. Buy, buy, buy. Mark it in. There we go. We're in, down one tick. I think that one tick was because we marketed it in. Oh, see, we're already reversing. Basically, we're bouncing off the SMA line on that 5-minute chart. So basically, we'll watch this. There's always a chance it could reverse. And we're still down just one tick on our natural gas trade. So we have 2 trades going. I need a better way to set up my screen so you all can see everything, but I'll figure that out. Maybe I'll work on that this weekend. But as you can see, we have these downward slopes. If you look here, this is the NASDAQ. You can see, this is just a beautiful downhill. Hardly any bumps in it. So that almost indicates this is going to continue down. Could it break through? But it's more likely you're going to usually see it start to flatten some before it starts going upwards. You'll see it start going sideways. And you can see on this way down, it's come back to the SMA line once, twice. This is the 3rd time. So actually, these areas would have been good areas to try it. Although I never really came back here, so this really wasn't a bounce. It's been hard to judge to get back in on this trade here. If you were in a short position. But yeah, here you're definitely fighting a downward trend. And you usually do not want to go against the trend. Does it work sometimes? Sure. But you want to go with a higher percentage play. And you see, we do have a flattening of the SMA on the 2-minute. But you really want to use the 5 or the higher time frame as your overall gauge. Even if we go the higher time frames here, 15 minutes is actually kind of flat, but you see it's been bounced off the SMA on the And the 30-minute, actually kind of uptrending. You don't want to look at too many time frames because then you get confused. Sorry if I just confused anybody. So right now, looking over, we have our two trades. Natural gas, still up one tick. ES, down two ticks. And we could blow this up some, I guess, so it's easier to see. There we go. Oops, that wasn't my goal. Boom. You know what I need to do. Oops. Okay, so we have gold and the UB giving us signals. Okay, gold's coming back up again. We have a buy signal on gold again. So let's do 3 trades at once. I probably would never do this in the Gauntlet account, but sim accounts, hey, see everything pulling back. We're going to buy market in on gold. No, Gen 5. We're going to go to Gen 10. Buy market. We already lost several ticks on that trade while I was fuddy-diddying around. We're now down 2 ticks. Well, one tick on the ES, but we're down 5 ticks now on natural gas. Copper is sending us a signal as well. Okay, we stopped out on natural gas. So that hurts. That's about a $300 loss. So far natural gas has stopped us out twice. See, we're up 3 ticks on gold. No, 1 tick. I'm sorry. Oops. Be 3 ticks if it was only one contract. And we're down 2 ticks on ES. So far this experiment's not really going well with this sniping strategy. We're down $885 on the sim account. So yeah, this might get scrapped now. I don't know if it's the quality of the signals tonight or if it's just a bad strategy. I guess the only way to really tell is to continue drawing out the trades I would take on TradingView based on my normal strategy. Now we see if we're up 4 ticks now on gold. I guess the interesting thing we've seen so far with these trades that we've stopped out on is at times they do go at least 1 to 2 ticks in the profit. You know, if I just stopped them out there, I would have gotten $30 here, $30 there, and that would have added up. But there's really no one bad trade that never goes into profit could easily quickly wipe that out. I don't want to be stopping trades at one to 2 ticks down. So I guess I'm just not a scalper, based on this strategy. It looks good on paper. This gold trade's looking good. We're up 7 ticks. So this one's a good one. We should already be at profit goal, but I got late up. See now that was an excellent gold trade. That was 300 bucks. $300, 3 contracts for 10, 10 ticks. We'll see. Yeah, you know, we were down $885. Now we're down $585 on the sim account. Sim, definitely sim. But we see the ES is still down 2 ticks, and like I said on the ES, I would not have taken this trade. But it is hanging around the SMA line longer than I thought it was going to. It's kind of going sideways. Hello, Mustafa. How are you tonight? Ooh, ugly chart. You see this copper trade that if I hadn't gone for the 10 just the 10 checks, we would still be in this trade and it'll be almost at our 20 tick profit target. Glad to hear it. Tell me, Mustafa, are you a current futures trader, a learning trader, trying to get funded trader? What's your trading status? So you see this natural gas trade. Now I said I would never take this trade because coming up into the SMA, but the SMA started flattening out and has now gone above. And we would actually, if we hadn't done that, we had done my normal 20 tick stop loss on natural gas. We would never stopped out of that trade, and it would actually be slightly in profit right now. Very slightly, by 7 ticks, but 7 ticks. Awesome. That's great. Have you started an evaluation with your profit yet? Do you have a favorite asset or assets you like to trade? Yeah, that's a good plan. I've been telling people that if when you think you're ready, if you're ready, when you think you're ready for an evaluation, figure out what evaluation you want to do. Find out all the rules of it, what your profit target is, your max losses, the other rules that you have to follow, and then follow those exact rules in a simulator, the exact rules. And if you can do that over, a month without breaking any rules, then you should be, then you can move to the evaluation, and you should be, you've already proven to yourself that you can do it, so you should be able to go into the evaluation with some confidence, and you know, just do it without worrying about blowing it, needing to pay for resets or any of that. I personally favor Earn a Trade over UProfit, but UProfit's a good company. Once I'm funded and I'm ready for a second account, um, UProfit will probably be where I go. I really though like the end of the day drawdown rule on Earn a Trade, where it's not. I'm not sure how UProfit does it, but where a lot of these companies are trailing as you're in trades, and you end up getting really tight drawdowns even when you have a profitable trade if it pulls back before you start, close it out. So Earn a Trade's where I'm most comfortable, but UProfit's definitely a good company. Let's see. So let's see. We're not really getting a lot of signals. The NQ. See, we are pulling back, and you know what? I totally forgot about the ES trade that we're on Sim. On the Sim. Hasn't stopped us out yet, but it's going to. But again, I'm just been trying this scalping strategy tonight, and that's not totally gonna throw it out the window. And this was not a trade I would have got into anyway. Yeah, it is, and I've been that's been my major struggle. I have a gauntlet going, a 75K with Earn a Trade, and my main struggle is the psychological part of it. Um, I don't take trades enough. I doubt myself. I'm assuming this is the first time you've tuned in, but I've shown people this otherwise. And I keep 8 weeks, so like 8 weeks of data on like 8 different assets based on my entry points, and assuming I will be able to like trade 24 hours a day, I just mark off every trade that I would have taken based on my strategy, and I always get like 60%. You can see me the way I mark them off here. On Trading View. Well, here is, I mark them all off of whether or not they would have been good trades, just based on my entries and where I would have entered. And, my stats constantly say I'll be successful, and I just continue to doubt myself. And if I get one bad trade, even though, you're gonna lose often. That's just how trading works. You can't win them all. But one bad trade will throw me off and make me start doubting myself. That's why I like using this indicator that I use here that sends the signals, these buys and sells. Some people try to follow something like this blindly. I don't. I use it to get alerts, and then I look at where things are at on the chart based on EMA and SMA and bands and such to decide whether or not this is where I want to get in or not. But it allows me to watch multiple assets and get alerts when there's a potential setup. Um, that's a good question. I don't use anything. I know if you sign up for Earn to Trade, they offer a thing called Journal Ticks. I've been meaning to turn it on. You have to contact support to get it turned on. But otherwise, I've been just you tracking it my own spreadsheet. That spreadsheet I brought up. Um, I'm not sure there's any other free journaling software out there or not. Let me bring up a quick Google search and see if I can, you know, free trading journal. A Google search came up with something called tradersync.com. Oh, never mind. It's just a free trial. Never mind. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many of these are free. Seems like if you put in free trading journal on Google, you might get some options there. You can see here on Earn to Trade. Okay. This is Journal Ticks. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't played with it. It's not turned on. I need to turn it on. This comes with a Earn to Trade subscription. You can see overviews and calendars and news and everything else. Yeah, it's trying to get data that I don't have. I gotta get this set up. But it looks like this is really in depth. Not sure what it's trying to do here, but here would be where it lists all the trades that you take. You can do it by accounts, whatnot. So that looks like good. I know Journal Ticks is something that you can pay for as well separately. It's its own company, but I don't know the cost of it. Supposedly it's expensive, I think. Yeah, it seems like everything baits you with that whole word free, and then you find out it's free for 7 days or free for 14 days. So we did get a signal here. So pulling back on the on gold, but it's coming back. We have a upward trending SMA line. So I think this is just a pullback to the SMA, not a trade I'll enter based, even though we're getting that signal. So it looks like the bonds, I missed this signal in the bonds when I was looking at something else. This has been a good signal in the bonds, on the Ultra bond. I shouldn't say the bonds, although you can see that the 30-year bond is also doing the same. Mustafa, what do you like to trade? What assets? We just stopped that on that ES. It depends on the asset. You got to watch your spreads on the bid and the ask. But I actually do pretty well in the evenings, especially on things like copper, gold, oil. ES seems to be more stagnant in the evenings. NQ can be stagnant as well. Just kind of while I was trying out this scalping strategy that obviously has not worked. But I mean, here, following the signal here on the NQ, this one wouldn't have worked obviously, but I wouldn't have got into that one because it's went into the bands. But if we follow this sell signal, that's a signal crude here. Short, go away, go away. You know, which was right there. We got in there. And I shoot for 15, and that would have been, 15 points on the Nasdaq. So, there are wins to be had in the evening. I usually, actually my favorite time to trade, but I can't because I still need to make money during the day and not sleep all day, is overnights. Things just seem to trend much easier overnight. Uh, Starting with about an hour or two before the Europe Open, and you just through night you often see good long trends. Okay, so crude gave a signal, but apparently it went away. Yeah, it's playing with the signal here. We see here, based on this signal off this huge candle, and by huge it was 16 ticks, so it's not really huge. If we had gotten in here, we would have had to deal with a pullback. I normally go for 16 ticks, so it doesn't look like we've gotten there yet, but we've been close. 16 by 12. 12, I said 12. 12, there. So we've gotten close. Do you usually trade the New York Open in the mornings, Mustafa? See, this is what I was talking about, gold. First of all, let me get this out of the way. But I got the sell signal here, but I felt like this was just a pullback and a bounce off the SMA. Now, if I had gone for a 5-tick scalp, that would have worked. 5 ticks down. But here we're bouncing back up off the SMA line. Bonds would have given us a nice 7-tick win here. Need to start trading those actually. I haven't checked what agriculture is doing. Agriculture is still trending up. It trended up most of the day. This is soybean oil. In fact, it trended up all day, really. Wow. Yesterday was the day to be in soybean oil. Not literally, that'd been kind of greasy. Corn did a lot of the same. Yes, what signal was that on the yes? So here we see the Nasdaq and the S&P starting to head back downwards now. I missed this Nasdaq symbol or a signal earlier. We haven't gotten a fresh sell yet on the S&P, but we're close. Let's quickly look at any support and resistance as we check crude oil real quick. Crude's kind of sideways, but right on a signal area. So let's look at some quick support and resistance here on the S&P. Solid pullback on this candle here all the way back at around 20 after 1 today. That's not what I want. That's what I want. So here's the first real resistance line. Oh, we did get a sell. No, yeah, I'm on the 5. Never mind. Which is still, it's only 4 points away, so it's not that far. Then our next one is just way back down here, which occurred about quarter of 8 this morning, 45.07. That was the last that was the last big pullback before it really went on a nice 7 to 31 24-point run. So we'll keep those marked off. We'll watch that. So Nasdaq is going down harder than the S&P. But there's okay. We got the sell signal on the S&P now. It just popped. We have 2 minutes on this candle. We also have crude. And not real. Crude seems to be range bound right now. What were we watching? ES. ES has actually bounced here a bit. Signal's gone away. Natural gas. Still indecisive. Copper. This is an interesting move on copper. It came down, hit the SMA line. Now it's trying to break the SMA again. It's also indecisive this evening. Kind of watching things for now. There's nothing really giving us direction. It seems like this week there's been decreased activity. I don't want to say volatility because we're still getting a decent range each day, but there's definitely not as much activity, not as much volume. So it looks like I might have been wrong on this gold. So we see it's kind of still pushing downward now. So let's map that out, see whether or not I would have never gotten that trade, but we'll still map it out, see whether or not I, it would have been a good trade. 12 tick stop loss. I moved it, darn it. 16 tick profit target. 7 ticks in the profit. That'd be good. Gold, gold's giving us some decent moves. Best move would have been to play this as soon as we saw this big red candle here to follow it down, see where it went. And that would have got us, 12 ticks, 10 ticks, somewhere around there. This this copper signal here, this would have stopped us out, I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe not. Let me make sure it's the right entry point. 7380. Yeah. So that would not have stopped us out. It looked like it would have, but would have came with a 1 tick of the stop loss, and then we will be 12 ticks up. I just most of the times when you see it coming down into a rising SMA line, you're not going to see it continue down, and it did back up first, but we'll see how it does. Everything's kind of quiet. We're coming up on, well, you know what? We came up on 9 o'clock, and really, we didn't see any wild swings in anything. We saw this kind of wild swing on copper. That was it. Still watching. Just waiting for something. Sure. Ah! Oops. Sorry, didn't mean to bring that up. That's my Reddit chats for people are asking me questions. So we're really bored right now, aren't we? Copper sideways, gold sideways, platinum, but platinum doesn't have enough to do anything. The bonds. I mean, there's some decent value on the bonds tonight. Kind of sideways here on both crude and natural gas. Bitcoin trending downward. If anyone has any questions or statements or comments or feedback at all, please feel free, because I'm struggling to find anything to talk about while we are sideways on just about everything. There's a bond move. Bond's trying to come back up, but again, this looks like a, until it shows me it can get through the SMA line, we'll hesitate on that. You got a buy signal on the bond, Ultra bond. We can watch that, but that would be a trade I wouldn't enter, just because it's within 2 ticks of its SMA line on the 2-minute chart there, down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. So I'll wait to see whether or not I can break through there. We got a buy signal on the NQ, so that we will do. We also have a buy on gold as it starts to head back up. Well, that went away. We got a minute on these charts. Both some signals went away. I do like where they're at, both of them. So we can prepare to see if they come back. Come back, Jack, and do it again. I know you all want to hear my singing. That one's pulling back. Gold's pulling back. So they both pull back. Oh, and look at this. So I totally doubted this copper move here. And I always say never doubt copper. And I always doubt copper. And it would have went to our profit target. So if I've been trading copper just regularly tonight based on signals, be up 500 bucks. So copper totally didn't do what I expected it to do, but gold did what I expected it to do, and that's start curling back up. Natural gas and crude oil continue to be sideways-ish. Although if you look at this move on crude, it's interesting. Let me get this that way so it's clearer. See that it came down here, hit the third band, bounced, came back down, hit the third band, and that was a decent bounce up. We're up about 10 ticks off that band bounce. So it bounced up the band twice and came up each time. And here you can see it almost touched that third band twice. And you would be able to get a quick, 5 or 10, 5 or 8 tick scalps off those bands. Now, when they hit like this, where they weren't touching the bands at all before, those are much better plays to try and play a bounce than this. We have a huge candle up, and then they kind of rides the band kind of up. You see this? I mean, eventually, if you had gotten here off this band play, you could have got a couple ticks off of it. If you played the bounce, and eventually you would have curled down some, but you would have to wait a while, and you would have been dealing with pullback and maybe a little worried that it was going to keep going up. So on the Nasdaq, this was just another pullback to the SMA line. This nice move upwards that gave us that quick buy signal that went back away, bounced off. This is a continuation of the longer downtrend. But the S&P looks more flat. You can see here is the downtrend on the S&P. Wait, that's the Nasdaq. Oops. Let's try to bring up the right chart. See, this is the S&P, and we had this kind of this downtrend here, but since about here where it bounced off this third band came up, it's kind of going sideways. Now we are getting another sell signal, but this is a big candle down. Well, not real big. It's a whole 1 point, but it's big. It's big relative to the candles we've been getting on this chart. So it might be trying to head back down again, but right now we're pretty much sideways on the S&P versus the Nasdaq still showing a downward trend. And the Russell is just doing its own thing. You see, if I would have taken this sell signal on the Russell way back here at 7, well, that's my time. That's 5, 6, just shy of 7 o'clock Eastern. We'll still be in this trade 2 hours later. Now it's sending another sell signal. We'll be profitable in this trade. Well, we'll be up 8 ticks. It's $40 on the Russell. But you can see here on the 5-minute chart just how tight this has been squeezing since it's open. Not a big range at all. Gold's really choppy now. And look at copper. Copper's just continuing to fall now. So let's look at resistance points for copper, or support, whatever. It came down here, broke the bands, and that started this move up. That'll be a good play. We can mark off that move that area right there. That's really close to where we're already at. Matter of fact, it just broke it. So I guess that wasn't a good support point. this will be an excellent play to get into. And just there's no. I mean, you can mark off some of these, I guess, like right here. Maybe right here. Sellers did try to come in during this uptrend at a few different spots, but were quickly rebuffed. The bulls just rushed through. So those will be the next major resistance areas, or support areas, whichever you want to say. And, but they're actually, I mean, they're quite far away yet. So this has room to go down before reaching the next resistance. It looks like it's trying to bounce here off the second band. So how are we doing out there tonight? Anybody actually trading? Anyone just watching? Anyone paper trading? Anyone in a gauntlet or other evaluation? Anyone just tuning in because they like the sound of my voice? Oh, yep, no, we're continuing to head down now. We're getting close to that 200 EMA on copper. It's spent a lot of time above that 200 EMA over the last week. Now it has been below it most of this week, but last week during that major run it did, spent most of the time below the price action. Kind of, yep, bounced off that EMA. Crude. Try to push up. Well, interesting that the UB did kind of go up here, broke its SMA. Now we got a buy signal in the 5 minute as well. Since we got nothing else going on, we can do that. And we'll do the Gen 5 on that because normally I only go for like 7 ticks anyway. Got a minute 20 on this candle. It's coming up to its SMA line on the 5 minute, but it's past it on the 2 minute. See which way it's heading. Remember, I'm back here tomorrow morning and Friday morning, 7:30 Eastern, probably about 10:30 Eastern. It's got a signal on gold as well. Check that as soon as we enter this trade. We have a decent spread here on the UB. We're gonna try and we're gonna try and limit order in, and we got filled right away on the limit order. So we're in that trade on Sim. Let's see what gold and crude are doing. Is flirting with a buy signal. Crude has a buy signal. I'm hesitant on crude though because crude has been kind of in the same range. You can see this same range for hour and a half. So let's go back to gold, which I said was going to continue to go up. We'll see if it sends a buy signal. We're watching this UB down in the left right hand corner, and it hasn't moved. Shooting for 5 ticks, and we went in with 3 contracts. Okay, ES, Russell, and Nasdaq all sent signals, so something's going on there. Oh, big move upwards here on the Nasdaq and the S&P. The 10.2 minute candle there. Definitely seems suddenly something's put a cattle prod to the market. It's moving forward. I missed this entry. I don't know what happened here. That it must have sent a signal right at the edge, end of that candle, and I missed it. So we can mark it off. And we would have went long there. See whether or not this is a sustained move or whatnot. 15 points by 10 points. I've been thinking about changing that in the evenings to be more of a 10 point by 5 point or something like that on the Nazi. Trying to get smaller moves. We're up 1 tick on that UB trade. Big move here on the indices. Over the last 4 minutes, we've seen the Nazi go up now. 354, almost 20 points. This is quite interesting. Seemed to come out of the blue, so something sparked the markets awake. It's struggling here at this level. Pulling back after about a 15-point move up, or not really pulling back much, but it's just kind of hanging there. Might be just taking a breath before continuing higher. Definitely higher volume on this candle versus the last candle. You can see on the 5-minute chart there on the Nasdaq, that this 5 minute candle has about 3 to 4 times the volume of the last 5 minute candle. So we definitely had some buyers come in here. This 5 minute candle is closing. Trying to see whether or not it can continue its push up here. Oh, big, yep, there we go. Broken the 200 SMA on the 2 minute chart. Trying to get to that 15-point profit target on our 2 minute chart. We're now down a tick on our UB trade on the sim. We have a, let's quickly look over on copper and see what copper's doing. Copper is bounced majorly. Look at that beautiful bounce. This thing bounced off both the third Bollinger Band and the 200 SMA on the 5 minute chart. Not sure why I had the 5 minute. Oh, that's right. I was looking at resistance points. This would have been an awesome play right here. This would have been beautiful. Resting an order right there at 471.35, and it's come up to 470. It's come up 30 ticks off that bounce. So that would have been a beautiful play right there. You can see the play better here on the 2 minute. 2 minute, there's the bounce and nicely up. Now we do have a downtrending SMA line. So, and it has not yet given us a buy signal. This is 30 ticks and it hasn't yet given us a buy signal. It's close. But this is why, if you're playing one or two assets and you're paying attention, playing the chart can do, once you saw this bounce, even if you didn't get in right on the bounce, this first green candle up, you could have got, 20 to 25 ticks off, and maybe more if this continues to go. We'll go back to the indices here. So we have this pullback now on the NQ. It exhausted at about 15,357. We do now have a buy signal. We had a buy signal on copper, but it went away again. So we'll see whether or not this goes sideways now. Our bond trade is still kind of sitting there, break even. Copper's flirting with it, but it still can't stay there. This starting to look like it might bounce off the band there because it's kind of at the band on both. Nasdaq and the S&P is continuing to try and move higher. I mean, this is a slightly green candle, both 2 and the 5. Still below the high of that last candle on the 2 minute. Now we have a doji candle in the 5 minute. If this candle closes red, it's a great reversal candle. Great sign of a reversal. You have a doji top wick, red body coming down. Great sign of a reversal. Of course, it's going to prove me wrong today. Yep, it looks like it might have just been a pullback, but we'll see. Bitcoin has definitely trended downward. Gold has definitely trended upward. It's that gold signal that came and went earlier. I missed this. This would have been a good trade to take. My mouse is being a jerk. There we go. See if that gets the profit target. We're one tick up again on our bond trade. So let's look here. Guess we could start charting out. You know, this. If I would have taken the first sell signal on gold, this is why this sell signal came in less than an hour after open. This is a time I probably should cut down on not do the normal 16 by 12. Let's see how far this would have got, because I mean this eventually stopped out like 2 hours later. But if I just had a 1.2 profit target instead of a 1.6, so let's say a 1.0, and let's see, say, I mean this would have been tight, 1.25, 10 by 8. It's still better than 1.1, and this would have got to, a good profit. Otherwise, I mean, we stopped out because of trying to get 1.6 out of it. And at this time of night, 1.6 is probably a little tougher on most days. I mean, there's some days, an asset can go crazy right off the open. But you can actually see by waiting for that stop out, we actually would have missed this entry here, which I think is the entry we actually did take earlier. But this would have went, this would have went to a profit target, I believe. Let's take this back, get this out of here. Take a long here. Yeah, I would have reached our 1.6 profit target. This one, so this came down, this would have stopped us out. But again, this is the trade I said I would not have taken because it was just hanging here above an uptrending SMA line. But we'll count it. I count it as just about anything symbol where there's an iffiness to it. And that way, this spreadsheet that I have is basically worst case scenario and still going. We can see here in our bond trade now. Oops. Well, if I blow it up, we'd probably see it better. We're up 2 ticks. And it doesn't take, with the ticks on the bonds being 31.25 each, using 3 contracts, it doesn't take much to get up almost $200. So we'll continue to watch that, see whether that reaches our profit target. You see gold again came within 2 ticks of our profit target before pulling back. Again, you know, there's a thought that maybe I need to reduce my profit targets at some points of the day, or based on market conditions, and I haven't adjusted well enough for that yet. I've been thinking about using this ATR line that you see here as a stop loss, and getting into this trade here, the stop loss would have actually been, right there. Well, where it's at now. This is a 1.1, so to get a decent, you know, still could have got. Oh, we'll see. Could still reach our profit target. So right now we're basically two for two out of two if we had taken each of these symbols. But with a smaller profit target on that one off the open, we could be 3-1. Okay, our bonds just boomed up to 4 ticks, although this pulled back 1 tick. At one point, we we're up $375 there. Let's see what anything else is doing. Hopefully tomorrow morning will be more action. Our gold, there we go. Gold would have reached our profit target. Yep, there's copper. Copper's yelling for my attention, and we're late getting in because it decided to yell right at the deadline. Find a chart, find a chart, find a chart. I need to be more organized. There it is. Okay, pull back a little bit here. Right at the SMA line on the 5-minute chart. If you can see this. Hold on. But we're gonna enter in. Ooh, yep, we just missed that entry anyway. Buy market in. This candle opened at 47330. We got in 4 ticks late. So we'll see. Right now we're down 3 ticks, but we will be up 1 tick if I had gotten in at the right time. So let's see whether or not this actually works. Again, we're slightly above the SMA line on the 5-minute, and the SMA line is almost horizontal. So now we have 2 open sim trades. Ultra Bond and copper. We're now at 1 tick on. Well, we were. Trying to do play by tick, just it moves too fast. 2 ticks on copper, 1 tick on the Ultra Bond. Copper just now gave us a buy confirmation on the 5-minute, and this trade's going 300. It's up. There we go. We hit our 10 point profit target that quick. This is going to be one of those ones I would have wished I took real. So watch it goes to my 20 tick profit target. Let me move this off screen for a minute so I can chart this. In there. Wow. If I gotten in right at the right same, right at the time, we'll already be at that 20 tick profit target. So, this is the time of night I hate being as conservative as I am. Look at this. I'll be up 3 wins on copper for 20 ticks each. That's 60 ticks. $250 each. So we're looking at least $750 here that I should have taken. We are still up, I believe, two two ticks. Yeah, 2 ticks on the Ultra Bond trade. This is actually, a pretty interesting 5-minute chart there on copper. As you can see, we were down here. We came down here and then up to here and came back lower than we were when we started this upward trend, and then bounced, and we're almost all the way back up to the top. So right now it looks like it's trying to put a range in between this resistance area where bottomed out here before that first run, and here, which interestingly, it topped out right at the high, yesterday's high. So that's obviously an important point as well. Be interested to see whether or not this kind of ranges between this area for a while. Might be able to like rest orders on here, buy orders down around this line, sell orders around this line. But we'll see. We're approaching 10 o'clock on the East Coast. 9 o'clock here in the Midwest, in the land of corn and soybeans. We did see kind of a pullback on copper here on this next 5-minute candle, but not Anything significant? We're still on our bond trade. Up 200 and, well, I'm sorry, up $187 now. Just 22 ticks. Definitely just kind of ranging right now, sideways. Between 2 and 3 tick up. Bond pull back. We're back to break even. Getting some signals here on, see what crude oil's doing. Crude oil's giving us a sell. We're still in this same range. Oh wait, actually we've got the profit target finally on that copper trade. I mean, I'm sorry, on that crude trade. So the crude trade started all the way back here at 4 minutes after 8. Ended about 38 minutes after 9. So we're having a sell signal. It has broken down below the SMA line here on the 2. It's riding a horizontal SMA line here. It's still within the same range. So this would be a iffy trade for me. We can see on natural gas here. It's still trying to trend upwards. You can see the trend here on the 5, but it's not making a lot of progress. Energies are definitely sideways tonight. Looks like we had stopped out on this Russell trade. Let me move this up here as we continue to watch it. Yeah, we did. So this Russell trade, this is another thing. I've been wondering if I should cut down on the size of the Russell. Also in the evening, this would have went to target at 3 points, which is 150 bucks. So I don't know where I ever came up with 3.5 points as the profit target. That's just what I've been using all this time. So I'm wondering if maybe 3 points. Let's see. There we could have got away with a 2-to-1 reward to risk. Gotten out there. So let's just play with that. 3, 3. And we got this buy signal here. Long position right here. Let's do another 3. And a 1.5. And that would have worked as well, it looks like. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. Now we got a sell signal here. And it would have been iffy to take it. And I can already see it's going to stop us out. But we count it. Would have stopped us out there. Definitely want to reach the 3 profit target. It would have stopped us out right where we got another buy signal. So we could have reversed. It's come up. It's got to within 3 ticks of that profit target. We'll just let it go and see whether or not it would have actually. Maybe I need to adjust this. Go back and look at some of the rest of the week data and see if maybe a 3 by 1.5 is more, more better, or even a 2.5. As you can see, our bond trade here, we were up 4 ticks at one point. Now we're down 1 tick. So this is something else to look at. I like the 5 tick. I mean, it actually sent us a sell signal. So, I mean, technically, that'll be a good sign to exit out of this trade. Let's put this down. We'll keep an eye on it. But so do we enter on the wow, lots of signals all of a sudden. Not sure why copper was sending a signal. Copper's trying to break that high, or I should say that yesterday's high. It did get above it on that this candle. Oh, actually, this is the pullback candle. Copper's now going for it. Copper's now trying to really start making new highs of the day. Let's look at this bonds long position here. I think this is where we entered. No, it couldn't have been where we entered. Where do we get into this trade? Did I use the 5-minute chart? Yeah, I used the 5-minute chart. This is why the 2-minute chart's better. It's a little bit harder to keep up with. The 5-minute chart would have got us to this five profit target. Actually, would have got us to my 7 that I like to use. Look at that. That's beautiful. Now, I would have been really hesitant to get in here, though. I admit that. Because it had broken, it had a downward trend against the main line. And it had ticks to get up, so that would have been an issue. And I'm not sure I would have gotten in this trade there, which is probably why I waited for the 5-minute. But the 5-minute, as you can see, would not have gotten me the profit target. If you look at the 2-minute chart, you know, profit target, this I wouldn't have gotten into because it was right into the bands. This would have worked anyway off of this. Again, this buy was in the bands. This one, if we start at the beginning of the day, there was no volume here at all. I would not have, I never get on the first signal of the day. So this is the second signal. This got a 7. No sweat at all. Again, this is a buy signal that I would have probably not gotten into, but we can chart it out. Wow, the spammers are out in full force tonight. Yeah, this would have only gotten the 3 ticks and then would have stopped out, I think. Let's see. Let's see how far it goes before it stops. So this would have taken us all the way through here until the big move downward where we just would have went into this. So this is going to stop out. Again, potentially, I mean, we got our 7 ticks here, but maybe this could have been, maybe this should be reduced to 5 and 3. And I believe we would have got, if, well, we wouldn't have got 5. Most we would have got out of this was 4. So, I mean, is 4 and 2 viable? Well, let's go. Would we have stopped out on 2? Yeah, see, we would have got stopped out at 3. So, I mean, 4 by 4, it's going to take a loss sometimes, I think, because you can't continue to make things smaller. So, if that was the case, here is a win, here is a loss. And like I said, I probably would have hesitated on this trade. But if I hesitated on that trade, then I would have hesitated on this trade too, and this was a win. So, I mean, if you combine them together, this is 5 ticks loss, this is a 7 tick win. I gotta look at the percentage one day of the trades, taking trades that are with a downtrend, with a going against the trend basically, and seeing what percentage wins that gets. But let's just say we've taken every signal, so far. That's 1 win, 1 loss, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, not counting this. So we're, it's 21 ticks minus 5 ticks, 16 ticks on the Ultra Bond would be $500. That's not bad. 75% win rate, $500, one contract. Throw 9 contracts at it. Throw 10 or 10, because 10, it would be $5,000. And this is what I'm seeing. I mean, let's look at yesterday. I think I charted out most of yesterday. Did I chart out most of yesterday? Not all of yesterday. See, this would have been a beautiful trade to get into. Look here. Look at this. 5 tick stop loss, 7 tick profit target. But the thing is that I mean this probably just kept going down. So if I run a trailing stop on it, 2 or 3 ticks behind, it probably went straight down. Well, let's look. Maybe we can see whether or not it went straight down. Oh, look at this. The bonds are back into profit. But let's take this chart. Let's roll back. We're going to go to a 10-second chart. 10-second chart. You think the 5-minute chart looks barren. But let's roll back. There's got to be a faster way to do this. What time was that? Ah, that was noon, I think noon. Okay, so let's go back in time. Okay, wow. Yeah. So you see, it's fun to look at this. Look at this here. Let's bring a back up trading view. This is a 5-minute can. No, I'm sorry. I didn't bring up trading view. Did no. Wait, what the heck? Oh, this is always on top. That's why. Let's take off the always on top. We'll go back to that. Now let's try and bring up trading view. There we go. So this is trading view. This is a 5-minute candle, and this went down 22 ticks in this 5-minute candle. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a 2-minute candle. I apologize. So 2 minutes, starting at 12:02 to 12:04, it went down 22 ticks, which is somewhere around $600. Well, more like $700. So, but now if we go to our 10-second chart, there. This is right at the start of 12:02. This is the first 10 seconds of 12:02, and in that 10 seconds, it moved down from 190.26 to 190.03. That's 23 ticks, and then it closed at 190.09. So it did pull back by 6 ticks from its bottom, all in 10 seconds. That's how fast it moved. So if you've been in that trade, gotten in right at the start, trailed it by say 3, it probably went straight down, eventually pulled back. We're gonna got at least 20 ticks out of that trade. So 20 ticks times 31.25. 20 ticks times 31 is 620. So somewhere about 640 bucks, 650 bucks in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Even with slippage, so because moving that fast, good chance you got slippage. 15 ticks is, if you got 5 ticks of slippage, which would be a lot, you're still looking at over 450 bucks in 10 seconds. And then I mean, and here's the other: if you're managing the trade yourself, not trailing the stop, just letting it go, following it, you could have got, this is most of that 5-minute move. Or I'm sorry, 2-minute move happened in 30 seconds. These 3 candles. Do I have a drawing? Can I do a drawing? Box, region, highlight, line, right, blah, blah, blah. Vertical line, Fibonacci. I have no idea. Oh, here, rectangle. I like rectangles. So 30 seconds, 40, 50, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That 2-minute candle you saw there. This 2-minute candle is the same as this. And you see how most of that 2-minute candle happened in the first 30 seconds. And it kind of actually went kind of sideways for the next minute, and then finished somewhat down a bit on the last. So I mean that's impressive, and you could have got a big move off of that. Now how do I get rid of this? There we go. So if we go back, first of all, let's go back to a 5-minute chart, and well, okay, and we're back down to being down 2 ticks on this trade. So that was an awesome trade. Trade before it stopped out, but again, you know, this is why I really want to be able to do more than just a simple go to profit target and get out of the trade. Because if you've been able to get all this, that would have made up for 3 different losses, even if you were running a bad, having a bad day. So let's see. Let's go back and see if this is all. This is one of those trades I wouldn't have taken. See a buy signal here, just why it's not marked off. Coming up, you have Bollinger Bands coming down. You have the SMA line coming down. There was no way this was going to continue going up. The bands were not going to make a 90-degree turn there. This trade worked. This one worked. This one didn't. This one. So okay, let's count this out because it looks like I had well. Here I missed that one. If anyone has any comments, if anyone's still watching, I might be talking to myself. I have no idea. Please feel free to chime in here while I'm babbling on about bonds. Hello. Let's quickly check natural gas. Oh, big candle down natural gas. Well, by big I mean 6 ticks. Nothing to write home about. But we didn't, while I was babbling about the bonds, did miss an excellent entry here on the crude oil that would be close to the 20 tick profit target. It would have hit 19 ticks on the profit target and then pulled back. Seems like things like doing that tonight. But we'll see what it does. Back to bonds. Entry would have been here. And it definitely would have stopped out. So, let's see. Looks like, where are we at here? Early in the morning, this ranged. So as you can see, this actually, once you're seeing it ranging, you probably want to stop trying to get in, or you want to start making your profit target smaller. This will, if you're making your profit target like 3, then these probably would have worked, but they didn't work based on my entries. So again, let's count off from the start of yesterday. Hey, old Lennox, how you doing tonight, buddy? 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 5, 7, 5, 7, 6, 8, 6, 9, 6, 10, 6, 10, 7, 10, 8, 11, 8, 12, 8, 13, 8. So yesterday we went 13 and 8. If I stayed up all night and taken every trade. No. 13 times 31.25 minus 8 times. No, that's not right. Yeah, minus. No, wait. Yeah. 7. No, 7. Yeah, 7 times 13. So we got 91 ticks in profit times 31.25. No, I'm doing something wrong here. Anyway, math isn't my thing tonight, apparently. 7 ticks of profit times 13 wins minus 5 ticks of profit times 8 losses. 51 ticks times 31.25. So about 1,600 bucks. There we go. Now math is my thing. Now bonds are heading downward now. So based on the 2 minute, getting in here would have been good. We can see whether or not, again, getting in here would have been good. Doing any trading tonight on Linux? This everything I've done tonight's been on Sim. This Sim trade's about to stop me out. This definitely working off the 5 minute chart's definitely too conservative on the calls. Definitely liking the 2 minute more. Definitely not trying to scalp anymore based on different things. Okay, we just stopped out of that trade on the bonds on Sim. 30 bucks ain't bad though. Definitely keeping your losses manageable. Hey, Mr. G, welcome back. Yeah, we aren't far off all-time highs. Seems nothing scares this market at all. So you're thinking once it breaks this point, Mr. G, once it breaks this point here, the high from yesterday, you think that if it breaks that, we're going to go to all-time highs? It's been trading tight tonight. But if I had played it my normal way of 4x3, these last two signals would have worked. Just barely. Would have came close to stopping me out twice. And it's always interesting when you look at a trade like this trade. If I would have gotten in this trade off the signal, this trade would have lasted exactly an hour. Give or take a few seconds. And it spent all but the last 4 minutes, 6 minutes, in negatives. I would have thought this was going to be a losing trade because I wouldn't have seen green on this trade except for a couple quick wicks up on a couple candles for 50 minutes of this trade, and then all of a sudden, boom! I bet you if I got in this trade and would have been here on stream, you would have heard me say a couple times, "Up, it's about to stop us out. It's gonna stop us out. Yeah, this trade will soon stop us out." And it never did. It would have never gone that far. Looks like it would have been one tick away from stopping us out. Yeah, gold's been looking kind of bullish. Nice big move up here earlier. Pulling back to the SMA line now. Be interested to see if it bounces. Would be a good entry off the bounce if it does. Copper still trying to push up. Kind of twisting around this resistance point I drew out from maybe yesterday's high. Crude's hanging right around yesterday's highs. It's kind of using it as support. Technically, I might have marked just a little bit. There we go. Kind of using it as support. You can see here, came down a little below, then shot right back up. And now it's just kind of riding yesterday's highs. And by yesterday's highs, it actually hit that high at the second to last 2 minute candle or 5 minute candle. Bitcoin still heading downward. Let's see what the actual price of Bitcoin's doing. Yep, Bitcoin's dropped over $2,000 from its earlier high today. So it's sending the futures down as well. It's probably it'll be interesting. I gotta watch that. I mean, one evaluation. It's not earn a trade that does allow you to trade Bitcoin futures. So I gotta watch how they act versus how the actual price of Bitcoin acts. See if there's correlation there that I can use. see that basically these NASDAQ move here and here totally mirrors the, well, not totally mirrors, but almost mirrors the S&P moves, which would have been two wins for tonight. I mean, honestly, I mean, why wouldn't I use that buy signal? Because on the 2 minute they go into the bands, oftentimes it's not a good signal. This sell signal I would have actually taken. Not sure why I didn't mark that off. I have a feeling I would have stopped out. On NASDAQ, yeah, I would definitely stopped out. So NASDAQ gave me 2 wins and 1 loss so far tonight. If I would have taken those trades, I can take that. 60 minutes, so I have 40 points on the NASDAQ's $800. I think. Yeah, that's right. I love the look of the band sometimes. This looks like some sort of eel with a big head swimming. That's just me being bored. What's the Russie here doing? Russie is still going sideways. Copper still hanging around that same area. Gold's trying to make another push. It's less than a point away from yesterday's high. Platinum's heading up too, and it looks like Platinum's finally gotten some volume, maybe relatively. Not sure what the spreads are on Platinum. I gotta look. The bonds did finally stop us out of that trade, but so far this sell signal looks like it's not working. And again, this was would have been one of those iffy. Came down right to a still rising SMA line. And here, a buy signal coming up to a downtrending SMA line did work. But here it looks like this trade would still be break even. It did go as far as 5 ticks. So maybe if you're gonna go against the trend here, go for a smaller profit target, more of a scalp. I have a feeling we're not gonna see the 7 ticks, but we'll see. Ooh, copper big pullback, giving us a sell signal, but will it do what it did here, where it came up and knifed right back down? Doesn't look like it's already pulling back. So keep an eye on this bond trade. We're at 10:30. Probably wrap up here 15 to 30 minutes, depending on if there's any action that happens in the next 15 minutes. Crude did reach our profit target. So again, this is why I gotta just start taking more trades. This is why I'm getting more and more frustrated myself. Look at this on crude, and I guess, I mean, technically if I had taken this trade here, this would not have reached any type of a profit target. So, I mean, there were some losses to be had too. This one went 8 ticks. Again, I doubt I'll ever trade before 7:30 Eastern time anyway. But so that's why I don't necessarily look for trades then, because usually it's before I eat supper. And honestly, once I get funded, my hours will probably be more overnight. But so this would have ended up stopping me out. Would not even stop. It wouldn't have stopped me out there, which is where I was already into a good trade. And this 8 o'clock time frame on the Eastern time is when things go kind of wonky, and also when volume increases. So I try to be flat. So this would have been a losing trade, but not as much as this. Actually, If I had gotten out right there, it would have been a winning trade. So, if my goal is to start trading right around the times I come on the stream between 7:30, 7:45, then worrying about what these do here off the open isn't as big of a deal. But I do still count them. But so far, even if this would have been a stop out, this would have been 2 for 3 on the night. 3 for 4 so far on the bonds. With this one being iffy, we have we only had 2 signals so far on natural gas. The first one went to 1 tick within profit target. So that would have, you know, if I had the trailing stop on probably about 20 ticks of profit. And this is just kind of sideways. Since that buy signal, it's only gone, it's gone 20 ticks in the profit. So, but if I cut this back down, if I do 1.5 to 1, that would work. But if I do 1 to 1, or 2 to 1, we would get stopped out. It's all this balance. Put this back up. We'll see what happens. It could still possibly head up. It's sent 1 sell signal since, and this one will only be down, a few ticks. So it's not moving much. Gold so far tonight. That was a loss, but I said I would not have gotten into that trade. But we'll count it. This ended up, stopping out. That was a good one. So, just based on the raw stats, 2 for 2. 2 out of 4. So, it would be 8 ticks in the profit after that. But this one I would not have gotten into, most likely, because most of the time this is going to reverse, just like it did. Copper's 3 for 3 tonight. Now, I did miss that this sell signal went, this sell signal, but again, this is one that I wouldn't have liked. Bands coming upwards, you still had a slightly upward momentum on the SMA, and going toward what looks like to be a band squeeze. Not what I wanted to do. There we go. What haven't I covered yet? NASDAQ I already covered. NASDAQ would be 2 for 3. S&P would be 2 for 3. No, 2 for 2. Well, I don't know. It sent a signal 12 minutes after open. It was already into the band, so yeah, I probably wouldn't have done that. But I think, let's see something. Yeah, my 3x4 target. So it just what would happen with that signal? It just would have wiped out this signal and still been a win. So either way, it was 2 for 2 tonight on so far on the S&P. NASDAQ 2 for 3. Russell. We talked about the Russell a little bit earlier. We had this one stop out. That was definitely just a definite stop out. Never went. This one, the first signal, it would have went with, normally I run a 35 tick. It would have went to 31 tick. So that would have stopped out on a trailing stop for some sort of profit. But I was also talking about possibly reducing this down to a 30 by 15. Then it'll be 2 wins, 1 loss, and this is still undecided, but it's up by 17 ticks. So overall, I think we're seeing like almost a 75% win rate tonight if I just taken every trade that the bot called out. And I'm not taking these trades, and it's frustrating. I gotta just get over it and just say do it, because this is what my stats always say. Now, the agriculture products haven't really sent us any symbols. I'm not sure why that's on a daily chart down there. And I just put it on the same number as before. I have no idea. I don't trade them anyway. And of course, Bitcoin, which I'm still trying to figure out. I mean, I have no idea what type of profit target on Bitcoin is good. I have not researched it enough. 500 sounds right. You know, that's oh wait, short. That's actually micro. But so if I do like a 5 by 750, somewhere around there, yeah, that would have been a good trade. Still need to figure that out. Yeah, if I want to continue pursuing it. Mr. G, if you're still here, or anybody, do you have any final thoughts before I start wrapping up the stream? I got a sell signal here on natural gas, so if finally might be getting a direction here. It looks like it might want to head downwards. So it's curious. We're going to overlap. I hate overlapping. It looks sloppy, but it allows me to evaluate if I should get out of one trade early and back, get back in later or back in the opposite way. So we'll do that. This hasn't really gone far that way. So normally I just say I let it run if it's been ranging like it has. But we'll just overlap that, make it look ugly for now. Have a good night, Lennox. I'm back on. If you're up in the morning, I'm back on tomorrow morning and Friday morning. If not, if you're just stopping in the evenings, then it's next evening one will be Monday night. Uh, okay. Well, either way, you're always welcome to stop in. I always like hearing from you. I always like hearing your insights and how things are going. So definitely, let us know. And I haven't seen you posting much on the Discord lately either, so I'd like to see you there again too if you feel like it. But otherwise, have a good night. Try and get some of that good sleep. Okay, it doesn't look like we have a lot happening. So Take a quick look at the, everything's sideways. So we're going to call it a night. Thank you all for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. Hoping to continue growing this channel, growing my accounts, growing everything. And I appreciate the support. I'll be back here tomorrow morning in like less than 10 hours. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.